to the friendly confines, the OG setup, the OG time slot, and an OG style leaderboard in hoops last night. You genuinely love to see it. Shout out to our guy, Nick, who is the hand builder extraordinaire. You love to see the hand builders get home in these contests, but man, we had Nick up there, we had Andy up there, we had Jewish McCaffrey, we had Sam Olson, we had Red, we had Nez times two, we had the streamed draft from yesterday, finished 23rd on a sick last minute sweat. It was actually a 19th before that. But man, what a night for the brigade. It's starting to sound evergreen.
It is. It is. That was a crazy one. I mean, it could have been so different too. I mean, that was just a wild, wild slate with Brogdon getting injured, Giannis getting tossed. I mean, it was some insane wrenches being thrown into the slate last night. But the real story is we are rapidly approaching Never Halley territory. Rapidly.
Oh, you can't say that tonight, though. You cannot say that
I
tonight.
can't say it tonight. I can't say it tonight because he plays the Bucks, and we all know the Zakarian thesis of backcourt versus the Bucks. We all know it's evergreen. It's hitting every time. But man, oh man, this guy is just the fakest ceiling I've ever seen.
Well, okay, so we'll talk about it when we dive into the slate a little bit. I think the rotations are really weird. They can close with anyone on any given night from that team for whatever reason. Now, it primarily ends up being Hallie, but I did a little deep dive on the popcorn machine before the slate kind of like opened last night, and I was looking at it and I was like, man, this is so different than what we're accustomed to with this team. Like, Turner can just randomly not get minutes and Smith's playing at the 5 to close. Like, Matherin out of nowhere last night just plays the last 16 straight minutes. Like, okay. Like, I'm not sure it's as much a Hallie thing as it is like just a team dynamic thing. I don't know. It's strange.
They're a good team.
Yeah. I mean, they're a fun team. That's for sure. They're fun.
I think they're good. I think they're pretty clearly like the 2023-24 version of the Kings, where I like that. Like the Kings just like were so hot offensively and like did enough defensively that hey, this team is somehow like third or second in their conference. I mean, I think we could see it.
Okay, I mean that's high praise, but I like the take. I like the take.
I mean, when you're the number one rated offense in basketball, I mean, it comes with some accolades.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yeah. I mean, that is the thesis of exactly what the Kings were last year. You're right about that. Let me bring up the leaderboard to kick us off there, just because it's so beautiful to look out. Shout out to Nick here.
Look at that.
Such an on-brand team for Nick as like the hand builder variety to be getting those Scotty Barnes and those Maxey, because the projection bros weren't getting there nearly enough last night. The models have not caught up to Maxey's minutes aligned with fantasy points per minute, nor have they aligned with Scotty Barnes's new usage. So he gets the GM start there of Luka plus SGA, and then he just goes to work with a bunch of underpriced guys that the models didn't like nearly as much as just smart basketball minds do.
Yeah, Maxey just evergreen. He's just always there. Maxey's a baller. Yeah, don't fade him. Listen to the ADP. The drafters on Underdog actually know what's up, because if there was, I mean, I know we have the projection bros and the auto guys and everything, myself included in that company, but Maxey always has a ADP at least like breaking 30. And if it was truly a projection, laden ADP, we would see Maxey with the 35.9. So,
right.
I mean,
yeah,
people draft him. It's kind of funny the way that like Underdog ADP is like low key, like very sharp. And other, you see it translate in other contests too. Like just very quickly, like last year, like with the playoff contests, Underdog drafters were all over the Bengals in those playoffs. And obviously they didn't make the Super Bowl, but people were on them way more than Vegas was. So just kind of, hats off to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was gonna say something when you had the little thought about the hand builder versus the opto bros, like, Pete's got the whole bit there. We
Mhm.
are kind of pushing into this new territory of underdog where you're seeing players and certain players that we've now played with for, a year and a half, or whatever it may be, that you're seeing stylistic, like basically like play styles emerge,
Yeah.
right? Where
Uh-huh.
like there's Bretta James who's going to just be in every single lobby and he's just going to be maxing. There's the T box where it's hyper exploitative plus auto. It's Andy where he's randomization within auto. It's Crutches where he's doing, sort of a similar thing with that, but clearly lined out his process for us on the Monday show there. It's very cool and very reminiscent to me of like the early days of poker where there's like not a clear defined winning strategy yet, and
Mhm.
we can see all these different archetypes of play style get home, right? So it's a very very cool time to be invested in these games and see these that you can find success, whether it be low volume or high volume or auto or hand build. You can find success in different ways. There is no definitive correct answer.
Yeah, I think one of the overarching themes that we see across all the sports is just taking advantage of recency bias, and you
Mm,
really can't say it enough. I mean, for example, last night, I mean, Sabonis not in the winning lineup like by a hair, but Sabonis. I mean, we talked about it. Like, what is he? Do we have to adjust his projection without Fox?
right.
And end of the day, he's facing a bad Portland Trailblazers team. No, you just play him. But coming off back to back bad games, his ADP was so suppressed.
Mhm.
And you can say the same thing with LaMelo Ball, who again didn't crack the winning lineup, but um, I guess maybe the slate before this one would be a better example where he put up 60, but off back
Right.
to back stinkers. Like, you just ignore the bad outcomes for guys that have track records of great performances, and you are going to end up profitable in these games. Like, you can just make that like your staple and just like fade the FUD, and you'll probably end up winning a lot more than you lose on Underdog.
Y- Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good overarching principle. Absolutely. I guess you could say it a little bit with Wemby too, like last night where
Oh,
he's
definitely.
pushed up so heavily because he was coming off of two good back-to-back games, and then you go, oh, by the way, nationally televised in the Garden versus Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, who can put some body. They're thick, grown-ass men, can put some body on a guy like that. Very interesting. Lots of GMs in the chat here. Shout out to everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Abnormal time slot here. Kind of just wanted to get something out here. But yeah, a bunch of big congrats here, and the champ is in the building. So shout out Nick. Shout out Nick.
Hell yeah.
I want to know, Nick, did you sleep through the West Coast games there? Because we did not hear you on in the Discord until this morning. So I want to know if you're a hashtag never sweat guy and just kind of slept through knowing that you just had it in the bag kind of deal.
I think you did. I'd love to get confirmation, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Like, just so
Love
alpha,
it.
just not even just knowing he had it. Just, yeah, I'm just gonna get a good night's sleep about it.
Yeah,
He
it
was
turned
asleep.
into that's good. It turned into a gross sweat and
Did it
kind of
ever?
glad you weren't watching because Sabonis in that game went to overtime there and Andy was charging. Same with Jewish McCaffrey here. Both had Sabonis and
Yeah.
they were charging there. So it would have made
took
for
a
a
few
little
hundred
bit.
away from my winnings there. Yeah, thank God you didn't see it because it went into overtime,
Mhm.
and then like Sabonis got credited for a block. Then they took the block away. Uh,
Oh my.
yeah, so like it was. Oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy. The
Okay.
sweat, and then you get the OT. And then it almost went the double OT. They had two really good shots. The Blazers did at the end there to tie it up from three. It almost went into double OT. It was really really gross. Thank God you
Mhm.
weren't awake.
No. um, I did a couple of the late night one there because I didn't get tons of volume as you could see here, and then I had some real life stuff, and then by the time these West Coast one rolls around, I got a confession here. I
Huh.
wasn't gonna admit it on the stream here, Nez, but I pride myself in doing the deep dive research on these two gamers. It's why I love these style slates so much. What in the fuck is a Skylar Mays? Skylar Mays. This guy comes out here with a 39 ball, breaks the slate as low owned leverage in the 6th round, and I was not even touching him. My projection models were nowhere near this guy. Am I asleep at the wheel on a Skylar Mays?
I thought Skylar Mays was that sounds like a WNBA All-Star.
Yeah,
I mean that's not a sexist
Skylar,
jab.
yeah.
It just sounds like somebody who just cooks for the Las Vegas Aces. No,
yeah, with one dunk a year.
Yeah, that has to be a Brogdon merchant.
Right. No, I imagine so. I just didn't know anything about the guy. I just was like, whoa, all right there.
Chad letting us know Skylar was a silly season all-star apparently.
Oh, yeah. See, I quit hoops by the end of that there too.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'm worried to see because I'm fully hooked on hoops. So once silly season happens, I'm really worried for my mental health because I don't know what I'm gonna do about it.
Well, it might be a good segue to tonight's slate. I think there might have been a little bit of silly season tonight, just given that there's back-to-back and whatever. Yeah, we still don't have that first injury report from the back-to-back teams there. But given the fact that Giannis got ejected, I mean, just what a terrible freaking call. Just bigger than the game, bigger than the league, making that alpha move there. It just, man, they get enough shit for resting guys, for to the point where they had to put in rules to make sure star players were playing, and to kick out a star player in your league. I originally thought they kicked him out because he led with his elbow and went up. Then I saw there was no contact, there was no nothing, and it was all the second gesture. If you want to give a guy his first tech of the night on that, send a message, hey, we're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. Maybe, whatever, fine. But to give a dude his second tech and then not even talk it over, review it, and be like, this was a bad decision, come on, that was bad.
Really bad. Yeah, you just got to be aware of the situation if you're the refs. You can't give a guy a tech there, or just change the rules. Make taunting its own thing and give a foul shot in the ball to the other team. Easy fixes to that rule. That is
right.
That you can't eject somebody for that.
Right. Yeah, I like your idea for the taunting rule like that, like a shot in the ball or something like that, and just don't call it a tech. We got Skylar Nuggets for days in the chat here. Chad dropping
April 9th.
April 9th stat line on the guy. Dale going, he's a Blazers fan, and he doesn't even know half the team now. I can't blame you for that, man. The Blazers have they're too far, Rob. Too far. Come on, man.
Put some respect on a fan from just a guy from 503. One of our OG Winner Circle guests. Put some respect on him. He's a Blazers fan.
Might have been the very first ever Winner Circle guest.
He was, I believe so.
The Winner Circle, that's kind of a funny story how that just kind of came to fruition. We were just chatting on a Sunday and being like, hey, man, there's no real good slate. We'll talk about the one gamer tomorrow. What the hell are we going to do tomorrow? It's I don't know. You think we can just ask the winner to come on? Because it's not going to be one of us. And it's just and the Winner Circle was born, behind the curtain.
Magnifique.
Yeah. All right, Nez, how many of let's start with hoops.
Okay.
How many of the hoops style drafts have you, the two gamer, have you done yet?
50.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I did 50 with my ranks. And I just kind of IKB'd it a little bit, looking at box scores and pick'ems that were available and minutes and stuff, and let just 50 rip. I did 20 in the buzzer beater, 30 in the main, and I gotta curb my Jalen Smith rank, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him go. Last night he was going kind of undrafted, and then today he's kind of snuck up into the 5th, 6th kind of deal. The thing with Jalen Smith is we can see a path to him ripping minutes from Miles Turner, which is a good thing for his fantasy value of a 6th round player or a 5th round player, because in that back end of this, there are not a ton of players that could steal a bunch of minutes tonight unless we end up with the Fultz out tag or some silly season on a Giannis status or a Dame status after playing, kind of more extended minutes after Giannis went out last night. But Milwaukee's not really in a position to be getting ahead of their rest situation right now. I mean, like, this team looks bad and they're getting cooked on the defensive end, and they need a win, man. They need a win under their belt here, right? So,
For sure.
Yeah, anyways, macro versions of I will I didn't have that.
So I just want to say,
yeah.
Sitting at 80%. 80% Jalen Smith right now.
Wow.
That's
50 drafts. That's a stand.
It's an oversight. We're gonna curtail that in a big way. I think that, and as far as buzzer, I think let me check here. In my 30 made slates, he is in 27 of
that. Well, here's hoping it's Jalen Smith night, dude.
That's gonna get pulled back.
Okay, let me spin zone it for you in a little bit, like for a little bit. Higher of the two totals, so that Milwaukee Indiana game is 243. The Atlanta Orlando one is also high, yes, 231, but 12-point difference between the two game environments. I will add that game is also in Mexico City.
Yeah,
it's not in Orlando, so at altitude, the home runs be flying, right? We saw this with the Padres this year.
So what do you think? All these shots going to hit off the back of the rim or like hitting the glass, just like everybody just like, or spin zone, they're shooting from the parking lot and it's just like net everything.
He's pulling up every time he comes across half, he's pulling up. He's pulling up from half and he's going to be icing them like they're 22-footers.
Ooh, another spin zone. Turnover, Mexico City. Turnover city, ball's a little too bouncy. We can't get a good feel for our dribbles, and it's just cookies all night.
Further spin zone.
Let's go.
Mexico on the take behind closed doors. Refs getting paid for some real shady shit.
We're canceled.
Oh, buddy, this mustache got us canceled years ago.
That's true.
Yeah, but like, if I'm looking at these teams tonight, like, or I'm looking at like the overarching, if we get Fultz in, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the big Q tag on the slate right now. He's missed 3 of the last 4 or 4 of 4, something like that with the knee thing. Not exactly a beacon of health as he is, but that rotation is kind of like 8, 9, pretty flat and spread, right? The Milwaukee usage is condensed around like 2 guys, and then I don't know what to expect from Middleton on the minutes limit still. I don't really know what to expect. Like, Jay Crowder played a shit ton last night, maybe just by happenstance because of the Giannis stuff. But like, I don't fully know what to expect there, but I think the usage is consolidated around like 3 guys, let's call it, right? Atlanta consolidated around like 2 or 3 mainly, but then you can kind of drag it to like 7 deep like that. My point here with this long-winded thing is the Pacers are the number 1 most wild card team on this slate, where I could see, out of nowhere, Nembhard closes tonight and he ends up with 32 minutes, or Jalen Smith is the dude you need because you just get the Turner foul trouble early and then he plays really well after. So if I'm looking for a team to target in the 6th round, well, give me the team in the highest paced with the best offense, with the highest game total on the slate, with the most ambiguity in terms of their rotation. So that was me selling you back on Jalen Smith.
Thank you. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did all that. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a fantasy points per minute dog, but the minutes are extremely capped and with like a pretty damn low floor. But Yeah, that's I mean we gotta change that. I have like no Brooke Lopez, too much Middleton for like a guaranteed 25 spot. I need to I need to make some changes here. This is definitely a type of slate where, you know, from, let's say you are medium volume, you're doing like 20 entries. I guess like no matter what your volume is, 20 or max, like you got to randomize this stuff because these projections, whether from a computer standpoint or from like, an IKB standpoint, it's so ambiguous and so flat that like you almost have to like do some sort of randomization or just say fuck it and go exploitative. But I would not advocate for going exploitative because I mean, like, if you have an edge, like, I would love to know. Um,
Hmm.
but like I really don't here, man. I think outside of um once you get past Bancaro here,
Yeah.
it's kind of a free for all. And I mean, I do have
I
preferences, but it's a free for all after that.
I agree with you, and I think that's what makes it a hand builder's dream night.
Oh, no doubt,
And
no doubt.
because I think we can think through these micro spots of like if I don't have Bankero in a lineup, well, I'm going to be more likely to take Franz or Mo or whatever, right? If I don't have Capella, I'm going to be more apt to take a Kongwu. If I do not have Miles Turner, I'm going to be more apt to push up Jalen Smith, right? And I'm going to try and get away from playing some of these negatively correlated centers from the same team in the same lineups.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart way to play it. Would you ever do four players from the same team in a lineup tonight?
I have a couple times, but when I do that, I like to do that from a game environment standpoint, or I like to do it from like the team that has really condensed usage. So for me, it was like I did it from like 4 Indy, and then I'll do like 2 Milwaukee tacked on, which maybe not backup run, but like auxiliary pieces. So I've done a couple that are like Hallie, Turner, Brown, Heald, Middleton, Bobby Portis, and just be like, that game is 20 points higher scoring than the other one. Indiana wins, and it stems through them. And those 25 minutes from Bobby Portis and Middleton provide enough floor to give me like 60 something points that covers my bases from the other game environment.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
can dig that. I think another thing we kind of have to like unfortunately talk about is the RNG of this slate and not rolling a Giannis pick.
Right.
And and
Just
and
like in
make
terms of ceiling potential.
right,
Yeah.
because not rolling a Giannis pick
Mhm.
could be, that you're basically like down 15 from the jump.
Well, yeah, it's true. Which which brings me to another question. Would you, I mean, based on your reaction there, I guess not, but would you consider flipping the board because we know what this front 6-7 looks like every single time? Like the front of this board, this almost every single standard draft looks like this, and then it starts. Like that's the first 7.
Yeah.
There's some people are flipping this Dame Paulo, or DeJounte was up here before the projection update. So yeah, I don't know. Like, would you consider, all right, well, that means nobody's getting certain combos from the front end here. Like, Jalen Johnson's really hard to pair with Trey, or Franz Wagner's really hard to pair with Hallie, or no, with Dame, rather. Would you consider the flip for a unique combo and just hope you hit the nuts that way?
I'm definitely like combo conscious today. I mean, like I have a lot of time available to me today, so I'm definitely going to be using the and if you're not in the Discord, and I know that like pretty much everybody in here is, but just in case you're not in our Discord in the Deposit Kingdom, our boy Andy8052 has an exposures tool that will read your exposures on the website and give you a CSV of them that you can put in Excel or Google Sheets. And it's an excellent way to look at the combos that you have based on your picks. I'm going to be doing that all day and seeing what I have with Dame, what I have with Hallie, with all these guys, all my first and second round picks, and getting unique with them and seeing like what is commonly paired and what can I do different. One thing that I do think that I'll be like putting a precedent on is, you know, maybe putting Dame as my 103 today and saying if I don't get Giannis or Hallie, like I want Dame to be taking over this game. And I want him to be taking usage away from Giannis or, you know, in some
Good
form or
call.
fashion where
Yeah.
he's the leverage. And you can even do that with, you know, Portis and Lopez. You know, you can do that with other guys as well. But thinking just from the higher pick standpoint, I really do think I'm going to be very cognizant when I do my manual drafts of when I don't roll Giannis. How am I beating
Okay.
the Giannis teams?
Yeah, that's fair. Um, it's kind of gal brain to talk about like the potential of like Q tags popping up or whatever. But if I think the midday Qs do happen to pop up, I'm not really sure how tonight's classified as nationally televised or not. It's NBA TV. So I think that constitutes as nationally televised when it's just two games on a Thursday night. But normally this would be like a TNT spot. So I
I
don't
think it
really know.
counts. I don't because
I think, yeah.
I don't think I would get blacked out if I was if the Mavs were on NBA TV, and for me that
Right.
just like that constitutes natty TV or not. Um,
Okay.
but
So
yeah, it
that
is
means,
interesting, right? Like
yeah,
because
that
Hallie's almost certainly getting the Q tag today, right? Like
right. That's kind of how I think, right? It's just like it's kind of just inevitable at this point. So I'm just thinking through some of the combos to get ahead of like if we get no Fultz, I think it's pretty obvious that you know just Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs just become like completely pushed up, way better picks. Getting ahead of Cole Anthony in anticipation of that could be pretty smart because you know he's a fine play in his own right. So just to bump him a couple spots and take him over Fultz, like that might just be good in a vacuum. Who would bump if we get the Hallie Q for you?
uh, I mean, just like a little bit of everybody from the Pacers, but not like too much
Right.
because
Yeah.
they all like get their fair share. Everybody eats for Indy, but I mean like Matherin. Um, we need the out tag to make McConnell an actual consideration. Like
Yeah, you
you
need
can't speculatively do McConnell.
yeah, you need him to start or you need him, you know, yeah, the only way TJ becomes like definitively in play, I think, is if you get an out tag Hallie, then he starts because Matherin played so many minutes last night and
Yeah,
they go, yeah, and then he's a break the slate monster late, but it I don't know, it's good to think about. Um of the scroll down variety, anyone you obviously alluded to, Jalen Smith has probably just been your sixth round over and over again.
yeah. Unfortunately, so far.
Yeah, is there anyone else down in this range that you would like take a stand on? How you've been ranking it outside of Jalen?
Let me see here. I mean, I've got a lot of Bruce Brown right now.
Yeah, he's going like third, fourth most of the time though.
Yeah, I must be like pretty high on him in my rankings. Trying to like get you a name here. Bogdan,
Hmm.
he's like sort of a scrolly and good
He
fantasy
was the
point
guy I
per minute
was
player.
Yeah, he was the guy I was clicking last night. I was clicking a lot of Middleton and Bogdan, but I don't know if that was just like name recognition and like, you know, triple condom safety I was feeling in doing so. But I do think they're both on minutes limits, and that makes it, you know, extra gross. But if you only need, you know, 25 points from your fifth and sixth rounder to win this slate, those two feel very safe. They're just not going to give you the the Skylar Mays break the slate game.
Yeah, we don't want any Skylar Mays today. I feel like you got to shout out Goga Batazzi.
Yeah.
I mean he's getting drafted, but he's definitely worthy of a draft pick. Let me just go to like the rankings tab instead of my exposures here, and give you a good answer, another good answer here. Yeah, it's pretty dire straits. I think Nemhard maybe like is in consideration. You know, just like the guards against Milwaukee thesis.
Yep.
Jake Crowder
Yeah, I
played
mean,
37 minutes last night. I mean, holy shit.
yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, and Nick bringing up the Bobby Portis loves to pop
For sure.
ugly slates. The other thing I would add to that is with the Jay Crowder playing all those minutes and potential like looming Q tags and stuff like that, and the fact that Middleton we definitively know is on a minutes limit right now still.
Yeah.
Makes Portis look like a better click than the other one, right? Yeah. This is a good shout by T-Ver, just leaning back into that, like, all the Detroit point guard smashed again last night. So, yeah. What was the guy's name? Sasser. Yeah. I mean, like, Sasser was the reason Cade wasn't getting back in the ball game there. I was like, yo, man, what the hell's going on? Cade doesn't have a point in the fourth, and he's just still sitting on the bench with 7 minutes left. I was like, what's going on here? And that kid was just cooking, man. He had like 28 points in 26 minutes or something. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, okay, like maybe just play any guard versus that team.
I know it's kind of wild, but Sasser's kind of nice.
Yeah. One more point to that is like Buddy Hield is, if you're box score chasing and you're looking at like these drop down like numbers and stuff, people are going to click Mathurin over him because they're going to see this 40, they're going to see the 38 minutes. People are going to just like when they're side by side like this, like Buddy Hield's this dude, if he just gets hot from 3, he's not coming off the floor. Like flat out, period. And this might be the best matchup for guards in the league right now. If Buddy gets hot, like he's going to be the guy you need, I think, in like the 4th or 5th round if he makes like 4 threes and does like what we've seen in the past Buddy things. And I'm not sure there's a better matchup for him to do Buddy things right now than this. So I've actually been like kind of in this middling tier where people are kind of trying to, decipher which one to click here. I'm actually looking at the minutes from last night being like, okay, I got multiple paths to first with Buddy. It's Buddy gets hot, it's Buddy shoots a lot, or it's even, hey, more minutes because Mathurin played a lot last night, or because there's no Hallie, or there's a Q-tag Hallie or a limited Hallie. So I think the path to Buddy feels really good tonight.
No, I think so too. If you look at his, stats from years past, this is the fewest minutes per game he's played since his rookie season. So maybe that's, a downtrend, or maybe that's noise. But if it's noise, his rate stats are just as good, if not a little bit better with this, with fewer minutes. So yeah, I think Buddy's a pretty good call in my opinion.
All right. I like it. Let's hop into draft.
Let's go.
See how this plays out. Is there anyone's ADP that you just think's flat wrong right now?
Not really, man. If I had to give my biggest, like, why is this person so low? Not really, dude. Everybody's pretty well set.
Yeah.
If Markelle Fultz plays, Markelle Fultz.
Yeah. Okay.
That's really all I could say.
Yeah. Well, does that mean that it's a spot that you're looking to get over the field on right now, or you're just kind of like treading water?
I think you can get over the field on Fultz. I'm not necessarily there based on my first 50. Actually, yes, I am. So I'm like so blinded by the Jalen Smith, 57% Markelle Fultz for me right now. So
yeah, you're full-fledged upload projections and hit auto bro today, because that That's in lockstep with what's going on there.
Yeah,
It
my
means you got no Sadiq Bey. It means you got no,
none.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, those are my rankings. They just so happen to like line up exactly with
yeah.
projections. Just so say, you can hold your applause, but
Yeah, Nick bringing up a good one here. Yeah, between like Bog, Bay, and Hunter, it's like who do you nail out of that as the auxiliary piece? Like same could be said between the centers. Like if you nail the two centers on the Hawks, it's a lot of like thinking through. Don't pair certain players that are going to overlap ceilings with other players. Is like the number 101 advice I think you could give on a slate like this, right?
yeah, I think that's kind of like evergreen. I feel like.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, okay, for me, I've been clicking Trey. Trey is my 103 thus far. I was clicking him over Dame. We see JJ Bright flip the board here and take Dame there, doing your leverage play. I
I
think one
respect it.
is Trey. Now, do you have an affinity for Ben Caro like some of the models do right now? Do you prefer to just pair DeJounte with him? Is Miles Turner too far of a drop? Who do you like?
No, it's definitely Bancaro or Dejounte here, and I think I go Bancaro just for the lack of negative correlation.
Okay, let's do it.
Um, yeah, and like projections and the underdog projections are both like side by
Pretty
side.
close today. Yeah, they're pretty close today. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's
Uh,
just a matter of if you get Trey or not.
yeah, I think it's also just like a big open your third eye to get ahead of what potentially Fultz being out looks like today or minutes being taken away from certain guys because of usage last night slate.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you gotta think through this stuff depending on what you're looking at on the board and what your team looks like.
Yeah. I like Capella. I've been clicking Capella a decent amount here. That would be one of the picks for me. We could game stack in some regard. We could take the Fultz queue. We could push it and see what it looks like. We could go down to Anthony, or we could play the other game and be like it's Buddy Heald night.
I think I would go Capella for sure for one of these.
I agree.
Now, okay, we've got two Orlando, two Atlanta. I kind of like your Buddy Heald call.
You like it
Uh
more
huh.
so than game stacking that one. All right.
Yeah. Just because like Cole Anthony still has the Markel Fultz looming, which like it isn't like a total boon to him, but you just they potentially can cannibalize one another. And yeah, I think you're onto something with Buddy in this matchup.
If Fultz is in, how do you rank Fultz, Anthony, Suggs?
Fultz Anthony Suggs.
Okay. How would you project them in terms of maybe not minutes? Minutes is probably kind of hard. Like if you just had to give like a raw projection number in your mind for each of those.
Like, and I would say Fultz 28,
Uh-huh.
Anthony 26, Suggs 23.
Okay. How does that change if Fultz is out? What does Anthony
Yeah,
go from? 26 to
like 29,
35,
29 and a
29?
half.
See, it's like they're kind of just interchangeable
And
anyway.
then Suggs gets like a bigger bump. I think Suggs like gets the hey they're almost like 1-to-1 if
Yeah, it's
Fultz is
interesting
out.
because I think Suggs is starting either way. It's just whether his usage bumps, and his usage obviously bumps with Fultz off the floor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like it kind of feels like Cole Anthony's just like a 1-for-1 swap with Fultz. I don't know. Like in terms of rankings, like Cole Anthony would just be the ninth player off the board every time, right?
Ninth, you think? Yeah, it'd be pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Where's is Brooke Lopez? Where's he? Where did he go in your? Oh, I guess we're up. Sorry.
He went
Shoot, there goes
8
there.
or 10 or something.
I mean, if there's Cole, I mean, what do you do? Do you
Yeah, I think
how
we
do you
take
not?
Cole here
Mm-hmm.
regardless. I think that's good. Um, I think taking Matherin is fine as well. It's probably like a good projection. It's probably a good like quote unquote like value here, and then it sets the roster up better. Um, we could do your boy Jalen here as well, and be like that offense doesn't run through Hallie and Turner, it runs through Smith and Heel. The problem is we don't have anyone from the Milwaukee side. So if you're telling that story, um, it's most likely because Milwaukee scored a bunch of points.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you can also just say like Miles Turner foul trouble for
Yeah,
Jalen,
that's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
but
Who would project better for you tonight, Jalen Smith or Matherin 1v1? No funny business, no anything.
I would probably say Matherin.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just because of the guard thesis.
Yeah.
But I mean that those minutes last night, man. I don't know. He's a young kid. He's a young kid. He can handle it, but that's
Yeah.
gotta wonder how that influences his role today.
Oh, I love that. Oh man, a Hallie plus Dame. I don't think I have one of those in my bag yet. There,
I know I
full
don't.
practice. I'm willing to get hurt on him. Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at this. Crash Rich taking Buddy at 12, man. The
Fan of the
Crash Rich
show.
model. The Crash Rich model in lockstep with the handlebar mustache model. You love to see it.
Crash Rich. Loves us.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Nick here too, where it's like even if Fultz plays, like they might just pump the brakes on him. Like they got a bunch of guards there that can handle the ball. You know, what does his ceiling game look like on this slate? It's probably a lot closer to Chris Middleton than people care to admit.
Yeah, I don't have like a solid minutes projection on him right now.
I think like the number one guy who could break this slate from the 6th round is Middleton if he gets 32 minutes. The problem is he's just damn near 0% chance to, other than the fact that maybe if Dame sits because he played a lot last night, Jay Crowder's just, hey, he played so much last night and he's old. All right, where are these minutes going to find their way to? Well, it's going to be Bobby Portis and Middleton, and I don't know. That's the only like gal brain I can come up with.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I'm just like the king of like condom picks, but I think Middleton in the 6th is just like awesome today.
I mean, like it's pretty safe. I've seen him go undrafted a couple times too.
I think that's bad. Like he didn't play the game before, playing against the Pacers today. I mean, yeah, you can. 25 minutes.
They kind of planned
like
for this, right?
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, they planned for this. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna get that news blurb that's like, Chris Middleton like ready to play 30 minutes. Like that would make me do some backflips. But I don't know. I still think he's fine to take in the 6th. Like I think he's great in the 6th at any point.
Other guys that we didn't talk about that might be a little low-key disrespected right now because they're not nearly as fun, but they're just going to play the forward spot would just be Obi Toppin and DeAndre Hunter. Like just like two guys that it's just like if they do end up, putting up a score that you need, it's just kind of like, duh. Yeah, they're starters. They're both playing 31 minutes.
Different.
Like,
well, Obi doesn't play 30 usually, right?
No, I know. That's what I mean. But if they do start tonight and he finds his way to that, it's kind of like, oh yeah, why didn't we talk about him?
But Hunter does. Hunter does play 30, but he's just like they're kind of opposites of one another. I mean, let's just look at like the Pacers last night. Miles Turner only played 22, but like evergreen. Bruce Brown did his 30. It feels like Bruce Brown and Obi Toppin can kind of be interchanged a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
most of the time they're on the floor together.
Yeah, Obi went from like Obi played less than 20 last night.
Right. The night before, I have the other game before. It wasn't the night before. The other game before, 25-9. Bruce Brown played 31 that night. It looks like when they play small, Obi closing at the expense of Miles Turner.
That checks out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Miles Turner's just doesn't.
And they're on the floor to start, and then on the floor together to close the first half. And then Obi just doesn't find his way to the closing lineup that frequently. That's kind of like the big detriment on his playing time by the looks of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it just speaks to what we were saying at the top there, the ambiguity of Indiana, right? It's just like if you're looking for those darts in the last round, I think they should come from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just kind of hope
This is
someone gets hot.
This is the popcornmachine.net. It's a free resource and just gives you all the splits there and stuff. Yeah, Bruce Brown at ADP feels like a trap. I do agree with that, Chip. That's kind of how I've been treating it, but I don't know. We've yet to see that Bruce Brown game since he's moved, and what we envision of him coming off the bench in the playoffs last year. It's just kind of living rent free that he outplayed KCP and outplayed Aaron Gordon for stretches there last year, because there was a time when we were pushing up Bruce Brown in terms of ADP where he was like right behind Michael Porter Jr. in the playoff contests last year, because we're like, holy shit, look at him with the ball in his hands in playoff environment.
But, yeah, and he was a Denver Nugget.
Yeah, completely different. But yeah. All right, let's talk a little football, and then probably have to hit the wrap it up box there, unless we'll see what the time is there. Football slate. If you thought the basketball slate was hard, the football slate might be one of the hardest we've seen this year. It's a true sickos slate here, Nez, because let me read you the starting quarterbacks for this slate. Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, who has not had a game over like 10 fantasy points other than one time this season. Mac Jones, Tyson Bagent, Zach Wilson, Aiden O'Connell. This is the complete opposite of the 3-gamer we had last week, where we were jumping up and down to do the Miami and the Chiefs Island game was on it and all that sort of stuff. We are dealing with, I'll go to our Fantasy Life game hub here. We are dealing with 38 total tonight. We're dealing with a 43, which is a high for the slate in Germany between that Colts Patriots team. And then we are dealing with a 37 between Raiders and Jets. Yeah.
Ew, yucky.
I'll tell you my number one stand right now. And? My number one stand on this slate right now. I like Bears.
Yeah.
I think Tyson has shown enough. He had some bad interceptions last game, but he had like 15 fantasy points through the first quarter and a half last game. He had almost 200 and something yards passing early. Then he had the two scores. He's shown an ability to run a bit. And this Panthers defense is absolutely depleted.
Everything you said is very true. And I'm with you. The thing that, like, the big thing for me on, like, this entire slate is, like, people not quite catching up to this Khalil Herbert not likely to play news. Because Deontay Foreman is, without Khalil Herbert, is, like, one of the best usages that we can get from a running back. Mm-hmm. And he has the best matchup out of all these running backs on this slate. And we think that the Chicago Bears, or at least, like you just mentioned, Bagent, like, looking quite competent as a backup.
Yeah.
I think that the Chicago defense is pretty damn underrated. And it's all setting up for Deontay Foreman to, like, be the RB1 on this slate.
Maybe RB1. Okay, maybe RB1's a little high for me. but I do think he's the best ADP value on the slate right now, and I don't think my thoughts have changed based on what we said on Monday. That being said, Khalil Herbert, designated return, had 3 full practices.
I know.
The news is telling us 2 different things at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what we've seen from a practice standpoint versus, could he actually return or not? That being said, I don't think they just put him back in to some like bell cow workload. Like Khalil Herbert wasn't even that dude before he got hurt. And Deontay Foreman has shown enough. Also, hashtag revenge game here versus the Carolina
That's
Panthers.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in lockstep with you here that like one of the most defining characteristics of this slate is Deontay Foreman. I fully agree with you there. I wanted to just say it while we were talking about it. No Brian Burns, who's like their best edge rusher. No CJ Henderson, no JC Horn, who's been on IR, no Jeremy Chin, who's been on IR, no Shaq Thompson, who's been on IR, maybe no Xavier Woods tonight. Like this team is decimated. Yeah.
They're so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to do one thing here because I'm playing Bears defense in some home leagues. I went to the well, play some Bears defense, and I was like, man, it's just. Did you see the chart that Hayden put out this morning? I retweeted it this morning. It in terms of like pushing the ball downfield from Bryce Young is non-existent. He's literally just like the most shook little boy passer in the history of planet Earth right now with the low A dots, low attempts, low whatever, right?
Who do you want him to throw the ball downfield to? Jonathan Mingo?
Yeah, I mean, without DJ Chark tonight too, there's even less options to throw the ball downfield. It's fair point. It is fair point, right? And
they should have went and got Jameson Williams. They wanted a wide receiver 1. They should have went. Dan Campbell and the Lions would have given them Jameson Williams for like a bag of chips. They do not like Jameson Williams, and that would have been fantastic. Reconnect there.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of fun.
But we're not here for hypotheticals.
We are, if that's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, might make for a more interesting show. No, man, this is really bad, and I don't want to have really any part of these Bears. I think Adam Thielen is not the wide receiver 1 in my eyes and on this slate, and I'm not taking him as the first wide receiver off the board in these.
Yeah, I put Devontae Adams on the cover there. Do you like him more? He might get a little bit of the sauce treatment. He has basically been invisible for 4 straight weeks now.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. And a player of his caliber to be putting up numbers like this is, I'm willing to give them a pass on last game. I think because they got up, they found something that was working. They got a defensive score, then they got 2 rushing touchdowns, and it was kind of like, yeah, this game's in control. We're going to win by 30. Maybe we don't have to do this. They did something funky with a Jacoby Myers rushing touchdown as well in there. So they had 3 touchdowns on the ground plus a defensive score. It was just kind of like the completely wrong script for him. I do think we could give the coaching staff a little credit that, hey, man, like, we're going to get Devonta involved. That just like was by happenstance. He wasn't involved last game. So maybe like this Detroit one will be like a super outlier when we look back, but it is getting to the point where it's kind of scary. So yeah, I don't know. When you're looking at this and prioritizing front end of draft boards and stuff, where do your eyes go?
I think to start, it's Josh Jacobs, I think, is warranted to be sitting at the top there, and so is Breece Hall. I think if the Jets are going to do anything this game, it starts with like Breece Hall breaking off something major. So I think that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. Now from here, this is where like things can get like really goofy, and I worry about Jonathan Taylor against the Patriots pass rush, or run defense. Maybe that's a mistake, but I think I'd still put him next. But like, I'm trying really hard to not like say like Michael Pittman before I say anybody else. But I really like Michael Pittman tonight, or in this slate.
He feels like the safest floor. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're talking about a guy who puts up 10 points every single week in this scoring format. 8 targets, 13 targets, 5 targets. He's got the 2 touchdowns mixed in there. We're most likely going to be without Josh Downs again, re-aggravated the same injury that he had coming into the game, still hasn't practiced yet. Yeah, so he's got that looming Q tag right there. Uh, I could see it. Absolutely could see it, right? And we've talked about how the Patriots defense is depleted as well. I got the ETR stuff here. The implied team total for the Colts is also the highest on this slate. So, the Pittman call does make a lot of sense there. They actually have Jonathan Taylor the highest in terms of projection and ceiling there, which probably goes in lockstep with the team total and that. So, I mean, I think they've just kind of been like, we saw enough with Zach Moss only getting 7 touches last week that we can just go ahead and flip this and give Jonathan Taylor a full workload. I'm not sure it's entirely there yet, but some of the biggest discrepancies that I wanted to point out was, the one that you said there, where they have Pittman both in ceiling and in mean projection ahead
Nice.
of Thielen there and as WR1. And then they also have Taylor ahead of that group here. And then the big one that stands out to me is Tyson Bagent. They actually have as QB2, and he's the QB that you can get for free in the last round over and over and over again. And then the one that you alluded to, Foreman out here. So confirming our own priors with this, it feels like a 2 running back slate where Foreman is my second running back almost every single time. And I don't mind stacking Foreman with Bagent because I think there's still ceiling for both of them, even if it's not of the pass catching variety for Foreman. Though we did see that 160-yard touchdown on a dump off to him earlier, but I think he eclipsed his entire receiving yards for the last 2 years with that one play. It was something like that. I remember seeing some crazy stat.
Yeah, yeah. Who can forget that? I know Sat can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Bagent man is legit. He uses his legs a little bit. We talk about how depleted the Carolina defense is. I thought about Chicago, man. Just for me, just seems like if they have the chance to like blow the doors off a team, they will. I mean, just based on the way that they started this season off, I don't think they're going to take anything for granted here. And if they have the chance to crush Carolina, they will. Now, in that same vein, like let's not forget what the Bears looked like early in the season, and the Panthers beat the Texans, which like I have amnesia about, and I know everybody else does too. So it's not like crazy to see, if the Bears beat themselves, but I'm definitely leaning towards, the more likely outcome being, of course, that the Bears blow the doors off the Panthers, and I'd feel very comfortable onslaughting them in this format.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, it is a slate that sets up with like just being low scoring in general that you can onslaught certain teams for sure and just take the stand on the slate because it's not like, hey, I feel like I need to have Josh Allen from this game environment and Tyreek from this one. Like getting away with an onslaught does make a lot of sense to me too. I just wanted to point out that Mooney is just playing like 90% of the snaps like all the damn time. They had that first design 50-yard pass to him the last Island game they played, little play action, whatever, hit him down the sideline. And then he didn't do a ton after that, but he still outscored DJ Moore in that game. So I do think we're kind of settling into, we saw a little bit more of the Velus Jones stuff last week. So maybe it's too thin for this contest, but I do think that like Darnell Mooney is like slightly underpriced here
He
as
is.
well.
I think Mooney's a good player, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Mooney apologist. I think Mooney's very good. So I'll have some Mooney.
We saw the Mike Gesicki usage and Hunter Henry usage be almost the same 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden it's not anymore, and Gesicki gets 1 target and doesn't have the catch, and then Hunter Henry goes for multiple targets and the touchdown. It does feel like Cole Kmet and Hunter Henry are in like a slight tier of their own here, and then you kind of just play whack-a-mole backstack with the end of the guys.
For sure. I'm like, ever since the Patriots have been decimated at pass catcher, like I'm giving Gesicki like way more credence than I probably should. But
Yeah.
he's definitely like a tight end that I'll draft in these if I miss out on Komet. But I really want Komet. Like he's a pretty big priority for me in these.
Yeah, I mean, he still had that 87% of routes there, but it's just like he wasn't targeted at all.
Just getting some exercise.
Yeah, man, cardio guy, big cardio club member.
Oh yeah.
The other one I want to look at real quick was, oh shoot, I lost where I was at. Oh, I wanted to look at the Kalen Gratson one because it'll be interesting to see what the Colts do with wide receiver, anticipating no downs,
Look at
right?
those
Because
routes for
Alec
never mind, those
Pierce
are wide receivers.
Alec Pierce just running wind sprints, like 100% of routes, 100% of routes, 100% of routes. And it just never materializes into anything until that one time that, Jalen Guyton-esque gets himself a 50-yarder for one score there. But it's really hard to get there. I think the biggest beneficiary will be Isaiah McKenzie. And that's kind of like the one guy I'm comfortable backstack clicking with Gardner to be like, this is a leverage play off of the ADPs of both Taylor and Pittman.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty when you look at these wide receivers, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's rip one and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Where did I go? Bratwurst.
I'm looking. Yeah, you're looking for the glizzy icon. They call it the Bratwurst Brawl. Let's get a sausage and a roll in there, man. Let's step this up.
Oh man, slate's been flipped.
Oh shit!
We got that Dame Q as we were anticipating, as we were gal-braining it up over here.
Oh
probable tag for
shit!
It's kind of fun, man. It's kind of fun. Makes me like Middleton.
What's even the fucking point of the Qs and the Ps if they're both gonna play?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, the Will Levis segment Oaks has been canceled, my friend. It's been canceled. We talked a little bit about it on yesterday's show, and we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow. It is a sneaky little game stack this week. Especially in the dog bowl stuff, to get yourself a little last round Levis after you take the Hopkins in the third there.
We literally didn't even talk about Will Levis and the Titans at all.
Yeah, we did. We literally said that on Wednesday. You said it, not me.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
No,
you don't remember your takes?
I was thinking that they were on this slate here, so I apologize.
Not this one. Yeah.
No. We put sorry, Oaks got me confused. I was worried that I was disrespecting King Will there, but
what should we do here?
Good question.
Flip the damn board, Nez.
Do you want to be ETR bros and go JT?
Yep.
All right.
Let's do it. JT is the true 101. Let's flip the script.
Let everybody know where we get our ideas.
Yep. We got friends and family here. KG's in here. Chipsy's in here. Money Mitch is in here. We got to get weird with it.
Damn, this Dane Q tag got me all fucked up, man. Because now he's going to fall. Like, you're going to see a Giannis Dame team. Unless the projection or the auto bros like have anything to say about it, but like, if four knuckleheads happen to hit a draft like in between that window where the button clickers are missing a draft, then
right. Yeah, it's fair.
I don't know. We need Numi and Hope's Iron Fist to
okay. Who does that make look nicer now? Campaign, right? I mean, Malik Beasley a little bit.
Beauchamp? What about Marjan? Beauchamp.
Yeah, I guess.
He's a guard, isn't he?
He's like a split guy. Guard, small forward, can play the three, like whatever. I don't know. Like, I think from a ball handling standpoint, like if Dame's out tonight, who would start?
Jesus Christ. I guess Campaign, right? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's so nasty.
6-round Campaign. I mean, the thing is, he'll be an auto swap too, so it'll be interesting just in general. We get Devonta Adams to come back to us and Garrett Wilson. I think just from like a talent standpoint, we click both.
Definitely Devon. Yeah. Just take them both. They correlate.
The thing about Garrett Wilson right now is it's pretty ugly for Zach Wilson, right? Like it's been bad. Like let him hang himself thing. He's getting double digit targets, tunnel vision every single game. 13, 13, 12. Like the all he needs to do on this slate to maintain this usage is they just happen to find the end zone one of these times. And he's also the kind of talent that could just house one on like a 12-yard in where he just puts his foot in the ground and does a little spinorama shit, makes one guy miss, and he's gone, right? So
Yeah.
we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you kind of have to do
And
that.
I got a film bro take for you right here. Ready for this? Marcus Peters, 101 of gambling corners, right?
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 1. Everyone's anticipating run. Split out wide. Lone receiver set out wide. He's got man coverage versus Peters out there, right? What does he do? He jumps the route every time to try and go for that hero pick. What happens? Wide open Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Gone.
Spin.
Yeah.
And he's to the house. Easy money. Easy money.
That was the sell me this pen of this slate. We don't get to do what we would do in a room without friends and family because everybody's watching the show and listening. And KG goes ahead and takes Donta Foreman right there from us. But in theory, we would be trying to push the Foreman one.
Yeah.
Nobody's taken a quarterback yet. We could do something a little cheeky here with a Minshew, Taylor, and then do the Isaiah McKenzie thing I was alluding to.
Well,
yeah. Douglas, I don't really care about tight end. Mingo's going to play a lot tonight. It's just whether he catches a ball.
I kind of want Bagent. Or you want okay.
I kind of want to do this.
Okay.
Because like the thing is, if you take Bagent right now, it's with nobody because Mooney's gone.
But it's like that's gone. The thesis is like he's like rushing for touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think he's that good a rusher.
He's a white boy with tats, man. He doesn't give a shit about anything. Do you go Pop Douglas? You want to go McKenzie?
Yeah. Just trust the process, Nez. Trust it. We're the scroll the F down team here. If I do little DeMario Douglas, this team looks like everybody else's team. You're going to hate what I got planned for this last pick.
I mean, it's Kylan Granson. Sorry. Spoiler alert, it's Kylan Granson incoming unless somebody wants to go double tight end. No, they can't anymore. You're lucky we're safe here.
Highest team total on the slate.
And smack the box.
Highest team total on the slate.
Say less.
This is a fun slate, man. This is a fun slate.
It is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. If you squint and use your imagination, take a rip. Man. It's fun.
Yeah.
I like it from the Bears side, man. I just think the Bears are so undervalued in this slate that like I want to do some Bears onslaughts before this shit fills, which will be any moment now.
Yeah. I misspoke about the Bryce one before. It wasn't 10 fantasy points, it's 15. He's got one game.
There you go.
Over 15.
Put some respect on him.
We're gonna go ahead and take Kylan Granson here.
Hey, he got that. Got that 67 yards against Jacksonville. I'll never forget it. After you, didn't he have something against Carolina too? I thought, or did it get called back?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Or maybe he just had a deep target or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know. I thought I saw something that was like, oh yeah, John's boy.
Yeah, I think he's good. Oh man, Minshew mania there for the mustache boys. All right, Nez, I got a rip here.
I got nothing left.
I was just about to say I really want to rip one hoops and just see where Dame goes.
Okay. Yeah. No, let's test the Dame waters.
Yeah, and let's get in here before any sickos join it. Hopefully, we're the fourth one in. Perfect. Good.
Nah, this is
All right.
John Boy Beats, Crutches, and Jaysar.
All right, here we go.
Okay, cool.
Hey, shout out JT McKenzie here. Don't know if he or she watches, but won the playoff contest for baseball.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Am I right about that? I am right about that, right? I think I looked back and won that. Yeah, I took a screenshot and put it somewhere. But we haven't done a baseball show since the World Series ended or anything like that. So we never hit on some of the wins associated with that.
What a nasty lineup too. Kelly, Gallen, Evaldi, Marte, Simeon Seager, and Tommy Pham.
So it was a two team stack of Arizona and Texas. There was
and
no
nobody
one-offs.
else. Nobody else. I mean, just
Cool.
the thesis, just
the thesis.
so sound and pure.
Yeah, love it. 2 wildcard teams, 2 opposing sides, just beautifully constructed. Is this Hallie at 2? It's Hallie at 2, right?
Hallie. Now
I'm gonna hit the refresh here and see if we get a Dame Q or not. Oh, there you go. Dame Q and Poison still takes him at 3. So maybe it's not going to change anything.
I mean, what? I mean, he would like it would go Trey. Like, I guess there's no way people are taking Banchero and DeJounte over him, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like that's the question, right? Right calf soreness is the official designation from the league.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also a little foam roller and get out there.
Not wrong.
See, I've been pairing Miles Turner and Hallie here together a lot. Let's take Wagner this time.
Okay.
I've been pairing them a lot. I think they are positively correlated, but I feel like because the ADPs align, because it's kind of like an end of a tier in people's minds, let's get out of that groove and let's take Franz here. And then maybe the positive correlation with the same thesis is Jalen Smith in the last round.
Yes. There we go.
Right?
I like where your head's at there. I think Franz is an awesome play today. I really do. He's much closer to Banchero and to outscoring projection or to outscoring Banchero than people think. In my opinion,
I like it. Do you like Jalen Johnson the way the field likes Jalen Johnson here?
God, man, you kind of have to.
Yeah, he's kind of fun, right?
It's just like he's sick.
Yeah, and it's just like 10 boards every single night. He's a fun player
on a nice, fast-paced team. Like the Magic are like kind of an interesting matchup just because like I don't really know what to think of them other than just like not respect them. But like their totals aren't as like high as I would, as you would like to see in given matchups. But
the Magic were playing well to start too.
Yeah.
Did they almost take the one against the Lakers or the Clippers? Which one was it?
I think the Clippers almost, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them as a young core. They're just like clearly not there yet, but they're close.
Yeah, they're so green.
Yeah. They just need the 30-minute Jonathan Isaac, and they're right there.
Now you're speaking my language. Have you taken him yet this slate?
No, but I will just in case. Just in case.
Tonight's
we get 5 blocks in 12 minutes.
Okay. Jalen Smith. Campaign. Buddy Hield.
You want to snipe the swap from the Dame guy?
Yeah, or you want Okongwu here first. Okongwu fits the narrative too because we're not going with Capella on this team. The offense runs through these two guys in Atlanta, which might mean Trey and DeJounte have bad nights. Middleton goes there. Bruce Brown feels like a trap.
Fultz but dude, he's right there.
I know, but we got to scroll the F down, dude. We talked about how flat this tier is. Jalen Smith.
You know I like him.
Okay, so Jalen Smith and Hallie, the combo you need because Jalen Smith rips Turner's minutes in foul trouble. Wagner's the one-off piece you need from that other game environment. JT McKenzie playing the hits here. And then we cap it all off with Cam Payne plays 38 minutes as a starter where anyone else is getting him is getting a swap. We're doing it in this very smart sound construction.
We're going to look cooler. We're not going to have the swap logo next to our campaign.
Fucking right. We were first to it. We were first.
I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to win ethically. You know, I want to be the guy that does it right. You know, that like, hey, yeah, you gotta hand it to him. You know, no luck needed, no right tail scores needed. We just did it with straight brain.
There is an obsession amongst like fantasy community. I think Pete and those guys were talking about it the other night on Chip Chasing. There is this obsession with like people would rather be right than like make money, or like people would rather prove they're smart than make money, right? Because there is a grand disconnect between like the alpha flex of like, fucking, we told you campaign was the guy, we told you, right? Like me doing the Taysom Hill thing. Like, it's like, I told you Taysom Hill's going to smash. The thesis is so sound. It's made me zero money in weekly winners thus far because it's tethered to all the wrong players. The thesis was great. The thesis feels fantastic. The financial investment feels bad right now. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, but when you get into like the content angle of things and stuff like that, I guess people only care when you say, I don't know, maybe it's what makes our content.
I mean, Wemby's the poster boy of that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's just like
poster boy of that.
Yeah, when we win these contests, you win off of like outlier. You need a string of outlier performances, more likely than not, to win these things. So like you're gonna far exceed a median projection. You can't get mad about it. That's what you need to win. So like, what are you really trying? What are you really building when you build? Are you building the best median projected team? Like, maybe you should reconsider the way you construct your teams if that's the case. Because, you know, I didn't full fade Wemby because I know he has that like shove it down your throat ceiling. Like, we saw him put up 60 fantasy points with only 2 stocks. Mm-hmm. If he gets that 30-point game, like he has with that AD like 80 fantasy point ceiling. Like it's right. There.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah. I think the next yeah, there you go. Mine is like, I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to send a message. I've said that to you guys so many times where it's like, oh, man, I should just have flatter exposures and be making well-constructed lineups and stuff. But instead I'm just like, yeah, 50% Tony Pollard nerds. Here we go. I'm going to fucking bury you guys. Like, if I win a leaderboard, it's just going to be my name that just goes like 10 times. Like, I'm searching for the RT99. I'm not searching for a win here, guys. I'm searching for an RT99.
there's actual substance to going over the field on a good player. You know,
that's fair.
As opposed to me, like if I took my Connor Hayward stand way too far and went 50% Connor Hayward, like that is me just like sending a message. That's what that is. But I might be doing something similar this week with Nashi. But thankfully you won't be on the show for me to unleash that take on Pete tomorrow.
Oh man, it's gonna be a good one. All right, let's hit the wrap it up box there. I do not have time to dust off the hashtag model, although it would have been fun, and it feels like we owe the puck guys a little bit of that in the future. But I'm low key a little mad at the puck guys right now. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
you got some beef.
Well, they're out here, you know, thinking they're hot shit and trying to be like hashtag make it bigger on the site. Yet they're overlaying, you know, far too often. You know, you can't have it both ways. You got to show up and show out. The hoops guys show up every damn night, every slate. That thing fills an hour before lock. You know, you want to hashtag make it bigger in the puck streets. You better start showing up and showing out, right?
I mean, pay your dues, I guess. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, they need what they should do is maybe just enlist for some reinforcements. Like if I I need a little encouragement to get back into these puck streets because hoops just has my full undivided attention. I mean, like I need to give some to my wife before I give more attention to the puck before I fire up the model again.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll help out the puck guys here soon if we get a nice slate and maybe like the Stars and the Penguins are on it. Adam Adam is watching Adam is watching the show from the start. Shout out Adam.
Oh, there you go.
He's not going to hear this until like an hour from now.
Kyler Mays, baby.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, GA is right.
Problem,
Nothing is the same to hoops on this site in terms of volume because of the auto mentality, and like the ROI for like the sicko users is just so much higher. And like you see it, like people don't love hoops more than they love, hockey or football or baseball necessarily, because you see like it took a long time to fill that double dribble and like we didn't even fully get there, right? Whereas, you fill like 15 NFL contests in that same amount of time. But when it comes to the daily stuff, man, people just see that 8K, that 10K, that 7K up there day over day, and they just go, I don't care what I'm doing today. I'm not really I guess we're still going to get 50 in, whereas like puck, you have to make like a concerted effort, sit down, do 3 at a time, and you got to spend an hour to get 10 in, right?
Yeah, you got to have your daily face off on the other tab. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I mean, I feel for him because I've been there from the baseball standpoint, wanting bigger contests. But I mean, face it, man, it's hockey. It's not
God's game, Betty. God's game.
All right, I gotta go put up a Christmas tree before my wife gets home.
Christmas tree. It's November 9th, Nez. What the hell is the matter with you?
It's not. I am a married man. I just do what I'm told. I have a checklist, and I do what I'm told. And what's on my checklist today is put up the damn Christmas tree. Bria has a funny. She's making me do these damn TikToks with her now. So I'm doing lip sync sounds and shit. Go on Hey Bria Jones TikTok if you want to see my latest appearance with the Christmas in November.
Oh my God. We got Christmas in November. We got TikToks. Does she not know you're a man with a mustache? Are you kidding me?
A man with a mustache and a happy wife.
Yeah, have fun watching Elf with the hot cocoa and Bailey's, maybe Irish cream.
Her family does like Polar Express, which was like not something that I did, but now we watch Polar Express. It's hilarious.
It goes The Grinch, then Elf.
Which Grinch?
Then nothing.
Live action?
Yeah, I like the Jim Carrey one.
Oh yeah, he did it. Yeah, he knocked that out of the park. Yeah. Do you watch? Did you say Christmas Vacation? Are you a Christmas Vacation guy?
I mean, yeah, but I'd probably put it like 4th or 5th on my list.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last question then about the tree. Now I gotta get it. You don't decorate it by yourself.
No. Oh no, I'd get in trouble if I did.
Right. Yeah, you're just putting it up tonight, and then that you guys will do like a decorating thing tonight or whatever.
She'll do all the decorating because like she's very particular about like where the ribbon goes, the spacing of the bulbs, which like I know the spacing of the bulbs, John. I'm not a dumbass. I play basketball. I know the proper spacing, but you got to look like you suck at it. And then she's like, I got to do it myself. So I'm scotch free. Just get the goddamn tree up and she can do the rest.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, hey, Primetime, I'm with you, KG. Like, I'm with you here, man. This is insane behavior from Ness. This is insane behavior.
We're just getting decorated, man. Nothing wrong with getting in the mood of the season.
Like twice. You need help.
I need no help. I'm a badge bro for a living. This is paradise. That's why I put up that damn tree when I'm told to. So that way I can continue to do these streams.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get my lumber jacket on here and go cut down some trees like a true grown ass adult male for the inside.
There you go.
My Christmas tree.
Eh? Make up for the lack of testosterone on the show, John.
We got so much flowing with these mustaches. Just have like a bit where we're just like do this over and over again. All right, we've gone off the rails.
Yeah, we'd lose everybody.
Best of luck to everybody playing tonight. Please watch Off and On the Clock tomorrow with Nez and Pete. There will finally, for once, only be good takes on the show. So there you go. You guys don't have to endear my my Baker doubles any longer. Best of luck to everybody this weekend. And any parting words other than that, Nez?
No, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, though. Join the show and get ready. Come with an appetite because we're going to be eating with these pickles.
I like that. I like it. Yeah, keep me fed while I'm on a little vacay. Keep my belly warm.
Enjoy
Love
yourself.
to see it. All right, everybody, promo code MLB if you're not playing on the platform of the people, Underdog Fantasy. Add sign up, get you 100% match deposit up to 100 USD. On behalf of Nez and myself, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace. Merry Christmas.